And we're live. This is so exciting. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. And we are here doing this live stream. And this is just going to be real casual. We're just trying something out. Let us know what you think. Do you like this? Just chatting about a bunch of things, some news, our feelings on certain things that have been released. Just talking stuff that we've covered on Hallmarkies. Lots of fun stuff talking about the podcast. So again, let us know what you think of this. And we have the super chat open. We have the chat room open. So if you want to do super chat, that would help us a lot, and we'll be able to answer your question. And I am film critic Grace Wagner. Jasmine's here.
Hey everybody.
And how are you doing?
I am glad that it is spring break, y'all. Y'all understand. I can catch up with my shows and stuff. So
yes,
today I'm gonna start catching up on my Beyond the Gates because it's been so long.
Oh,
and then finally catching up on some Hallmark movies everyone's chatting about. And
yes.
I'm like, what have I missed? I'm like, kind of like catch up on like other shows. I'm like, this is a lot that's going on. But I'm happy for it. How about you, Rachel?
Well, see, I'm actually, the other reason that I'm doing this is because I'm about to go under the knife. Literally, I'll finish this and then my mom will pick me up and I'm going to get all my wisdom teeth taken out. So that's a little scary.
I've been there, girl. It is just poop is, man. But I guess I'm praying for you. It's gonna be okay.
It's long overdue. Yes. I should have done it a long time ago, but
you're being stubborn. It's okay.
Yes, I am sorry.
You're being stubborn. The teeth are being stubborn. Yeah. We're not doing this.
Yeah. Yes. So thank you to all of you listening for distracting me, and for Jasmine for doing this, especially an hour earlier in California. But yeah, so we're going to talk about a bunch of stuff. I don't even have notes for this. This is just going to be a fun chat. And one of the things that I think is interesting is that we have the Spring into Love season for Hallmark, which has been pretty good. The last, it's usually a pretty good block, is the Spring into Love. And what's interesting to me about this lineup is I think the movies so far have been pretty decent, but you look at it is just like a laundry list of classic Hallmark tropes and formula films, and which I think is interesting. So you have Two for Tea, which is all about saving the community center, right? You have A Royal Setting, which is your royal movie, and also it has a little bit of what I call the scientific farmer. In this case, it's about jewels, but it's about like finding the perfect jewel, the perfect, whatever. And then we have A Season to Blossom, which is all about the matchmaker from beyond the grave, grandmother's bookstore that they inherit. It's a drifting, aspiring writer returns to sell her late grandmother's bookstore, but its traditions helps her rediscover her voice, her roots, and a love worth staying for. Classic Hallmark. And then a little park music. We even have a gazebo, when a piano appears in park gazebo. I mean, that one is a little bit creative with, so a piano appearing, but still interfering with important work. City manager Allie joins forces with rookie cop to remove it, only to find both music and love are hard to resist. Classic. We got the next one, To Philly with Love. Teacher and archivist decode Revolutionary era love letters, taking them on a thrilling journey. I mean, really, how thrilling is it going to be? That seems like a high promise to be offering.
Oh my goodness.
I think they might want to under-promise, over-deliver on that one. I don't know. And then the Tyler Hines one, I'll Be Seeing You. We have them basically on a road trip. Anyway, what I think is interesting is you've got like a clear, noticeable swing towards back to the formula, where for a while they were really trying. I mean, none of these, I guess, are City Girl comes back to the country, so we can be grateful for that. But still, I think it's no accident that I forget when it was that Michelle Vickery joined back on, who was one of the big leaders with Bill Abbott. It was recently, like in the past October or September, or something like that. That she joined back on. and this would be kind of one of the first big seasons with that imprint, because most of these were probably shot in November or December.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I just think that's interesting. They were got to swing back to the formulas.
That's hilarious because I just ran into a tweet, not tweet, like a IG post maybe yesterday about Hallmark tropes and how they work in the formula. I'm like,
yeah,
that's crazy. And I'm like, yeah, we still watch it because the same tropes, everything, doesn't matter what city it is, we're still gonna watch it. It doesn't matter what, we don't care. But I definitely can tell you, my hearing some of this, I'm like, now I need to watch the one with the author coming back to sell the grandma's like bookstore, because I'm like, how are you going to sell her good bookstore? Like right now, everyone's in a book era again. Like, so everyone's buying all the cups and stuff, beginning their reading. So it's like, now it's like the service. Like, why are you selling the bookstore? Everybody's going to like look at you.
That's crazy. True. It is that there has been a resurgence of independent bookstores. That's actually been a thing. I know here in Utah, there's a lot of like, there's one called Lovebound Library, which you would love. Ooh. Jasmine, it's all, romance themed, and it's so cute. Yeah.
Like literally, I know this one girl, like I follow her on IG. She's opening one up, I think, in Jersey, like a Jane Austen. Well, she started as a mobile, but now she's got like a kid fun. Cute. And then this one is have this, like, these two friends are opening up one in Claremont, California, in SoCal. They're receiving their books, and so it's like everyone's like doing like they're in an independent bookstore. So like, I'm excited. I'm rooting for them.
Yeah.
And just seeing like Michael's always had like the book themes popping in, but since the past couple of months, within the year, everyone from Target, everyone in every store are having Marshalls, the cups, the books, like, Leverage and everything about like books, like the signage, the back. I'm like, yeah, we are in our book era again, and I love it. Barnes, we're opening books up, like we're opening stores again. I'm like, this is where it is. Now we're missing Borders.
What would be a cute Hallmark movie is if they had somebody opening a bookstore like Lovebound Library, and then they get dumped. And so then they become kind of bitter about love while they're working and running a Lovebound Library. Like, that would be really cute.
That'd be crazy.
That would be fun.
I can see now, like, probably a section like, this is how I feel, dark romance. Like, this is how I feel right now, you guys. These are the best sellers for me. Everybody else, no. I would love that. And then you just have this hair, like the guy come in and just like, because now I'm seeing a lot of more guys, because as girls we read books and stuff, but the fact that a lot of the guys are picking up like, what are you guys really reading? And I'm like, probably reading smart books. Like, no, we read a little bit of everything, but a lot of tropes have been popping up. It's like, especially a lot of sports tropes have been popping up recently.
Have you been reading anything good?
Yes, besides, I have been taking a little bit of time off of the werewolf books, you guys, but I have been dipping into other books as well, by other authors, which I'm discovering, and it's been great. And just discovering like a lot of indie authors that needs the love and the support, and I'm really excited about. So it's like a lot of people have been reading like sports, like hockey's and baseball and stuff. Like, it's more with this one author. She's connected with Hannah, with the Savannah Banana group.
Right, yeah.
And she wrote a book based off of that, and she'll be there during like opening weekends and stuff, so telling her book. I'm like, this is great. Like, girls are getting into like reading these books. I'm like, I'm gonna go to hockey games now. And it's just it's the smut of it all.
So I have not been reading a ton this year. I've been a little bit slow. We haven't had as many book sponsors as sometimes we've had other years, but those will be coming. But I have read, let's see, this year I am on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. I've read 6 books this year, which is light for me. But I read a Project Hail Mary, which have you seen that yet?
I have not.
It's so good. You'll love it. You got to see it.
Okay, I'm gonna have to put that
in. Really good. It's so charming. It's actually like a friendship story.
Ooh.
Yeah. So Ryan Gosling, he plays this teacher who ends up going up in space, and he wakes up. He doesn't remember who he is in space, so he's trying to put all the pieces together. And part of that is he meets this alien friend that he names Rocky, and they become great friends. It's very sweet. you'll love it. Yeah, you
Okay,
gotta
because
see
this
it.
is giving like old school, like 90s, like
Yeah, yeah,
Nickelodeon,
it
like those
does.
space, like the space cadet
Yeah. It's a
movie
little longer
show.
than it needs to be. I think it would have been better at like 20 minutes shorter,
Mm-hmm.
but that's really the only major. It's very, very charming. I think you'd like
Okay.
it. Anyway, the book is also a lot of fun.
Nice.
This writer Andy Weir, he is very good at making science entertaining.
Ooh.
You know,
See, that what I
writing in a
love.
way. He did The Martian. Did you ever see that with Matt Damon?
Yes.
So he wrote that book, The
Okay, okay.
Martian. So then he wrote this, and they're very similar in style and tone, and the same kind of thing. So and then I read If You'll Have Me. This was by my friend Esther Hatch. It's, fun Regency novel. And then Wuthering Heights I reread before the new movie.
Okay,
Did you see
that
that?
name is coming up to my head. Like, wait, I heard that name. I heard that.
Oh
I
yeah.
haven't read it.
Did you see the movie? Did you see that?
No, I did not.
Margot
I'm gonna
Robbie.
put my
It
outfit
wasn't. It looked beautiful. It was a very pretty
Ooh.
movie and it was very sexy, but it wasn't my favorite.
Okay.
And then I read An Officer from a Gentleman. We'll talk more about that about Bridgerton coming up. And then I read People We Meet on Vacation before the movie, which was so good.
That's crazy because my coworker was reading it in class. I was like, yeah, I gotta read it. I'm like, it's good. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. And then I read a book called Good Spirits, which is this was for book club that we did, and it's about it's a take on the Christmas Carol, but and he's the ghost of Christmas past, and she's his person, and they end up falling for each other. It's a very sexy book, but it was fun. I enjoyed it. Yeah. So that's what I've read so far this year. So not that much for me, but I should actually I have 2 books I have to read this week. So I'm hoping with my surgery that I'll have a little bit of downtime to because I have to for 2 sponsorships. So I'll be adding 2 to that number coming up. But anyway, so that's
like I completed some books that I didn't get to complete, which was some more like werewolf books and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Tell me why
what werewolf books are you into?
I'm into the paranormal werewolf, so I read author Cooper. She's really amazing. There's actually a group on Facebook that I'm in. It's like her pack and stuff. So we have like rank leaders and stuff that help like moderate and stuff. So right now, currently, like she just updated maybe 30 minutes ago saying that she dropped the next chapter for the one she claimed. That's actually a series on the iReader apps and stuff like that. She has other series like the Elementor, Elements one with dragons. She has the Pack Doctor series, which is on all the other.
So is it like romantasy?
Yes, yes, romantasy with werewolf rankings and stuff like that, like different themes and stuff. You have the one that I'm currently reading I'm reading 2 at the same time, but they're really good. She's a great author. Her characters, we laugh, we cry, we have nicknames for the villains. Like we literally have one we call him Cockroach because he never dies. No matter what they do, they cannot catch him and die.
Oh, but wow.
I read that. I read who else have I been reading? I read Tessa Luna. That's like ages ago, but I will say this, y'all. Don't sleep on Dollar Tree. Even though we go to Barnes & Noble, go to Amazon, stuff like that, do not sleep on Dollar Tree. You're going to find the best books in the world. Y'all, I bought like 8 books this past week. It made no sense.
Yeah, I tell you, where you should go to Dollar Tree is for hair and beauty. You can get really good stuff, super cheap, and any kind of like snacks. Way better than anywhere else as far as you can get really good deals.
Yeah, because I found some good books that are usually priced at $22 or $18, whatever it may be, at a decent price. Like I found like I have this one that's sitting right next to me. Like this book is called The Forest Queen by Betsy Cornwell. I never heard of her before, but I bought the book because it's talking about the female version of being like Robin Hood. I'm like, I'm down for this.
That sounds fun.
And I found other books like
you can get that at Dollar Tree, huh?
Yeah, that was $1.50, y'all.
You can get good stuff.
You can. Like,
really
I found hardback copies for $1.50.
Yeah,
different authors, either you're a Black author, a Hispanic, Asian.
Yeah, and you should go there if you're getting stuff for Easter.
Yes.
Like for the Easter baskets and stuff. Like they have such good prices on that kind of stuff. So yeah,
Definitely.
I agree with that. Well, let's switch gears. Let's talk a little bit about Bridgerton.
Dun, dun,
So did you
dun.
watch season 4?
I did.
What'd you
I
think?
finished it. It was amazing.
It was
I
so
thought it was
good,
better
wasn't
than
it?
it was from season 3. Like a
Oh,
lot of
no
people were talking.
question.
It was only getting back to where it was from the first 2 seasons, how it was going. So I'm like, thank you for bringing that back, because season 3 was a letdown, because it was just like you just like, oh, we had this great momentum and then back up. I'm like, so I agree with everybody else. Season I love the couple, but they needed more screen time to develop their love too, and not a character that's getting not only half.
Well, yeah, that part 2 was just absolutely atrocious. Like the first part, I really enjoyed. You know, the carriage scene, of course, classic. These two had such incredible chemistry, and then to have him sulking and them not being together for almost 3 episodes, it's just bizarre. I will never understand it in a million years. And I think that they wanted so desperately to give Penelope this big moment in front of the Ton where she stands up, like this girl power moment. But that's in the book. But in the book, they do it together. And like in the book, he's still mad at her about Whistledown, but he still loves her and he still wants to be with her. He's just like, I'm mad at you, and to me, that's like way more romantic than that, like because that's like ultimate love is loving the imperfect, right? I think it was such an epic failure. It almost made me not want to cover the show at all. Especially because I'm not a big fan of Benedict's book. It's definitely, in my opinion, the weakest of the 8 main novels. And so I was like, oh no, what's that going to be? But I'm so glad that I gave it a shot, because the first part wasn't that great of 4, in my opinion. But
man, then they just that drop of the mistress, that was like, child.
I mean, that's in the book. I understood that, but they only had him say it, I think, the one time.
Yeah, one time. Yeah.
Says it. And in the book, he's saying it all over the place. He's like, "Will you be my mistress, my mistress?" And so they minimized that as much as they possibly could. But it was just so swoony. If you're talking about yearning, they really, Luke Thompson did such a great job with the yearning. You just felt it in every scene. Is heartbreaking.
Yeah, they had great chemistry. I love that.
And then when he's like, please don't go. I don't want you to go. And you're like, oh.
Like, don't leave him, but it's part of my script.
It was so good. And they had just enough steam, which was, again, so frustrating in season 3, because you really only got the 2 scenes you got the carriage, and then you had the mirror scene. Yeah. That was it. For season 3, which is no fun. And then so season 4, you had just enough, I thought. And it was so good. I was so pleasantly surprised.
Yes, I was too. And I'm glad they kind of
had such great chemistry.
Yeah, their chemistry was amazing. The sisters' chemistry, especially doing like behind the scenes takes, especially her and like Poppy, like they
that was fun. Yeah,
I'm like, can they just be together forever? Can we have like their own like show together? Because their chemistry is just
good. I could see like a whole Poppy spinoff. She was so cute.
Yes,
I liked her so much. And Aramont, she was a fun villain.
Yes.
That actress did a good job.
It was bringing a little bit back to like those Once Upon a Time days. I'm like, thank you for bringing back the villains again.
Yeah, it's true. And even because the first part I was not feeling the plot with the Queen. I was like, why do I care?
I feel like the Queen could have not been there. I'm not gonna lie, as much as I love the Queen as well, I feel like the Queen could have taken like a backseat. She could have been fine.
I agree, but it wrapped up better than I ended up enjoying it more than I thought I would, because it was actually quite sweet. Like her friendship with Lady Danbury and her sadness at her leaving, and so it was quite sweet. And I still just do not care about Lord Anderson, and the Lady Violet. Like that was, they just made him so bland. He was so boring. Like they gave him no personality, and I don't know. That was still to me the weakest part of the season. Because even I wasn't a huge fan of Eloise's plot. I feel like they just haven't known what to do, and we'll talk more about this in a second. They haven't known what to do with Eloise for a while, and I have no idea why they dropped her being an activist or becoming. Why would you drop that? Like that gives her something to do. It gives her instead she's just like bothering Hyacinth, and I mean at least in part 2, they gave her, like, it was fun, her with Cressida and helping Sophie and their relationship. And so I enjoyed that, but that and so the Lord Anderson, Lady Violet, and then the Eloise were probably, I think, the weakest parts of season 4, but they were better in part 2 than part 1, at least.
And that speaks on who is the showrunner and how the direction was supposed to go. And me being on Reddit last night and catching up on this, I usually I already be on Reddit. Be on Reddit is about am I the a-hole type situations, like reading those reading those episodes. That's my guilty pleasure right now. I don't know why, but I'm here for it. But just going on the rabbit hole. OMG, the fans are talking. The fans have been talking for years.
Yes. So let's dive in. Let's talk about that. So they make the big announcement about season 5 that it's going to be Francesca and Michaela. And I have thoughts. Well, I mean, the first thing is, so they're skipping over Eloise's book as far as the order of the seasons. And I think it's a mistake because, again, I think they're just going to be like, what do we do with Eloise? I mean, she has said that Eloise's story is going to be basically a marriage of convenience. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if she starts writing letters to Philip in season 5. And then at the end, we see her basically going there. But one of the best scenes in her book is when all of her brothers come because they think she's being like, her honor is being besmirched or whatever, and they come to because they're furious at Philip, and that's a great scene. So I hope that, first of all, I hope enough of her brothers are actually on the show at that point by the time they do it for season 6, and because I mean everybody's quitting, and I don't know, it would just be a shame if they get rid of that scene, and because if they start with a marriage of convenience, then they won't have any kind of scene like that, and that would be a bummer. But I don't know, I just feel like, what are they going to do with Eloise? And they had built her up to a point where it did seem like, okay, her season's going to be next because she's talking about that she's fine with weddings, and she was finally being supportive of Hyacinth and saying that maybe there is a place for love. So it just seemed like, okay, they're building up for this character. So that's my thoughts on that. And then also I really love Michael in the book, so I was very sad that I have no problem with there being queer characters, queer arcs. People might not believe that. I really don't. But I was just like, of all the characters to pick, why did you pick Michael? And his yearning and his conflict about becoming the Earl and replacing his cousin, and also the dynamic between Francesca and John, even though we don't actually meet John in the books, is she loved him so much. There was no like pining for the yearning or whatever, like they did this season. I just wish they hadn't picked Michael, but that's what they did, so we have to deal with it. The fact that they're doing their season next is surprising to me. But it isn't surprising to me because I don't know. The only thing that they could have done with them, I think, if they had done Eloise first, then they would have had Michaela leave and just be gone for season 5, because and that would be true to the book, because Michael goes to India because he's so like he can't take it. He can't take it anymore. He's so in love with Francesca, and but she's oblivious to him and his yearning. And anyway, so they could have done that, but they had done so much already with Michaela and Francesca that I was just like, what are they going to do? And I kind of wish that they had decided to do a combined season, but they didn't. So that's what they're going to do. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they come up with. I feel new confidence because season 4 was so good that I feel a new confidence. I'm not seeing chemistry between these two. It doesn't even feel like they like each other. And so maybe they're going for like an enemies to lovers type story. But I don't know. I have very mixed feelings about it. How do you feel?
So for everyone to listen, as you know, as we support actors and artists and everything like that, I know there's been a lot of backlash with the artists and with the actresses and stuff like that with any project, including the Harry Potter series. I don't condone that like at all. Like that's 100% off top. Right, that's for me. Second of all, the showrunner, Jess, her statement was definitely a little too late. And also, I did not take that seriously. She thought that she had a Uno reverse on that statement. I'm not sure you read her statement.
I think I did, but it's been a bit. Can you remind me?
Yeah, I got it for you. It says, I'm very happy for the people to discuss and debate the show and our approach to adapting the books. But I want to state really plainly, there is no place for homophobia or racism or any form of bigotry in the Bridgerton world. Bridgerton is about love and inclusivity. Mind you, when I read this first time, I'm like, now you're deflecting. That's the first thing I thought about it. Then when I read it again, read it in Gretchen Riener's voice in the scene from Mean Girls in the gym. That's what it was giving. And now I understand why people are upset with her doing the show between the third season to the fifth season that she's contracted for. Mind you, and understanding the reason why Chris and Shauna had beef what direction where they wanted to go, because reading from fan, they're saying that Chris didn't want to swap out the genders, want to keep everyone the same. They want to add more drama to it, where Chris wanted the magical of it all. And I sat here like, wow, like I don't understand. Now I understand why things are placed the way they're placed. And even she's talking about in her interview, talking about, oh, we had fun in the writer's room writing these scenes and stuff like that. So in the words of my friend Dory, my sis on the Mahogany Cast, it was a choice. It was a choice to drop these characters the way you made them be created. It was a choice for you to create these characters, especially the ones who had great development for the first 2 seasons, and have them in limbo. And on top of that, not only that, it's just the fact that you're really just blaming the fandom. No, I agree with different fandoms about where they're at in play. There's a little bigotry, which I haven't seen, but they are out there about, homophobia and stuff like that. There are people who are diehard to the fan who want to see them become alive in that,
which just because you are sad that they're not including Michael doesn't mean that you're homophobic. It just means that you liked the character and you wanted to see him.
Exactly.
That I mean, you can be if you do homophobic things and you're hateful. And I think that most people are willing to give this a shot. But that's still, like, I might, and I hopefully will end up really enjoying it. But that doesn't mean that I'm still not sad that we'll not get to see when he was wicked and we won't get to see Michael. Like, I still am sad about that. But, like, both things can be true. Like, and that's it. You're right. Like, that's the choice that they made.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wish that they had picked a different character than Michael. But that's what they did. So, I really would have loved to have seen a new original character.
Let me bring you to my thoughts about that. Because after they were talking about the infidelity, which is really true, because we very talk about that infidelity in television and in movie. We get a little bit not in a mainstream pop way, but I was talking with some fans about how
You mean
they had a
infertility?
perfect setup
The
for
infertility, Francesca?
and
Yeah,
how
the
the grief process was, and like they wanted to see that. Their fans that was upset about that. I'm like,
yeah. And
as a
they
person
did
who,
talk about that a little bit in season 4, with
yeah,
her. But it's the
not the
whole thing with the
emotional.
pinnacle. The thing with the pinnacle, I hated that. Like, I really
Mind
didn't
you,
like
the
that.
Pinnacles was invented, not invented, but it was Dawn in season 1 when Duke was talking about it with Daphne.
Well,
So it
sure,
wasn't
but
new.
I didn't like that
That's his focus.
she I didn't like that with John and Francesca,
Me
like with
either.
that. I didn't like that because
That
their
was
relationship was so sweet, and I
mhm.
know I just didn't like that.
Yeah. So my idea was I was because a lot of people were talking about it too because we're bringing up Brimsey and Reynolds from Queen Charlotte. My thing is,
Yeah,
if you have the galls to change a whole entire character on
lead
top of their
character.
whole entire book,
Yeah,
and mind you, you are friends with Shadow Ronk for 15 years with her. Y'all been besties since for 15
yeah,
years on Grey's Anatomy, everything, but you can be bold enough to go to her and say, hey, I know we don't have inclusivity involving LGBTQ plus community. We have not aired it in the first 4 seasons out loud in the open, like holding hands or at the balls or anything or at events. How can we make this as a standalone that's going to continue how you did Queen Charlotte, which was excellent? Which
yeah,
my idea was that there could have been a friend at Francesca's debut who actually was a lesbian, but met her person on the other side of that room, but they can't be out in the open. Like,
yeah.
oh, she probably related. Like I said that she was related to Brinsley because she had higher
Or
status, and that would have worked perfectly. Where he remembers how they couldn't be out and about, and plus he's ranking. Like they've been, that law is still the burgeoning law,
yeah,
and
or
that's
I
what they
think
tried.
they,
And mind you,
yeah,
it's a fantasy. They could have changed it where they could have abolished
yeah,
it a little early,
or
all stuff like that, and go on the journey. And had a little mix of songs, "Secret Love" playing. That would have been the
yeah.
perfect end about triumphant, how to get rid of that law, how to overcome that from the old
Yeah.
generation to the new.
Or
And
I think it could have been fun if they took a character, say someone like Cressida or somebody like that, and gave her an arc like that. Or I mean, I do think Benedict would have made a lot of sense because they'd already established him as as being bi. So I think his would have made sense. But of course, I love him and Sophie so much. But I don't know. It's just going to be interesting. But I don't think you're a bad person if you're sad that Michael's not
no,
in
and that's what
the
I want.
story.
I don't want to let everybody know with the statement that Jess made. Don't ever think that what she made is about you that defines you. That is not true. That's just her insecurities reflecting off of her
And there
and what
has
she
been
thinks.
some bigotry for sure.
There's been video for that 100%. There
So
has been,
it's
but for
appropriate.
everybody else in the fandom, her words should not put you down because those words are not true to you, and that's something that she hates so
Yeah.
because she's deflecting as well as how is the opposite. Because people are making the same statement
It's-
too, like, what do we change if it was a leading male?
Yeah.
And
Well,
mind you,
so often the loudest the loud minority gets all the attention, but I think most people are pretty accepting these days that I
they
know
are.
at least. If it's well done, if it's well executed, so we'll see if it's well executed. So far, I've not loved the execution. I don't, but we'll see. Season 5.
Yeah. Well, my last question in that segment is because a lot of authors they write and add on to like their project. I know Julia, she's been having her mixed feelings about because people talk about, well, she's part of it. No, she's not. She gave her all creative control. People, I need to let y'all know this.
I mean, she's come out in support of it.
Support of it. She chimed
still,
in, but she doesn't have to creative control like other.
But what do you think about the Eloise thing? Were you surprised at all that they? I mean, by the time we have Eloise's season, she'll be almost 40.
People are talking about that. They're like, I'm gonna be here. Like,
it's too long.
It's and this is why I voted for having 24 episodes per season, so that way you can split the books in half. 12 episodes. That's what I originally wanted. My thing
I just wish that it didn't take them 2 years. I mean,
they could have filmed 2 different seasons.
By the time they get to Gregory's book, it's gonna be.
But, okay, I'm probably too busy probably with a soccer team. But my thing is, it's a choice where Shonda Rhimes could have said, like, if Jess really seriously wanted including a queer lead, mind you, they should have been adding this stuff for the first four seasons
Yeah.
into the community of the ton, and we got saw that representation not have as a hidden secret like it has been.
Yeah.
Two, Sean Rice could have talked to Julia about writing a queer lead for Bridgerton to add that as their own season arc in between the books, because it would have been hard for Gwen to Julia to do that if the money talks, which the money always talks for her as the author right now.
Yeah,
she wrote that, and
I think that could have been fun.
And I could have had their own, and then pivot off of maybe Francesca's season and became friends, and how that could have worked. It wasn't mentioned Francesca, but it'd be her perspective of what happened, and having that lead for.
Well, and then we're like attached to the character and their story, and I mean, I know a lot of people are really attached to. I think that people got more attached to John and Francesca than they expected. I don't think they expected people to like this sort of this on the spectrum romance that they kind of developed for them as much as they did. That's just a guess, but yeah, I just didn't. I didn't love the way that all played out.
And then and then I just feel bad for the actresses. Oh, they're pushing all this PR out, trying to get the family quiet. This is
they're
great,
just doing their job.
No, you are hurting these actresses.
Yeah,
it is not okay. And then the fact that
they're just doing their jobs.
They're doing their job,
but
Jess and the production, they fumbled heavily when they put this out there. And the fact that Julia, I thought she knew about this beforehand, because her like I said, has been watching over the years about, I don't have control. I do have control, but I don't. And like, no, guys, this needs to stop. Like, tones down that you guys are going to change this.
Well, one last question I have for you, and we'll move on from Bridgerton.
Yes.
But do you think we're going to see Lady Danbury again? I think that this was her way of writing. I think that we won't see Lady Danbury for 2 seasons, and then maybe we'll see her for Hyacinth's season, because the Hyacinth falls for Lady Danbury's.
I'm thinking 2 seasons too.
Lady Danbury's nephew and Gareth. And so I think that's when she'll be back, but I think she's going to be gone the next 2 seasons, and on this trip, whatever she's taking. I don't think we're going to see Anthony and Kate again. I really don't.
No,
I would be
they're talking about it, but I know Bennett will be in season 5.
So. I don't think we'll see them next season. I think the next season is going to be heavily based with. And I do think that Benedict and Sophie, and my guess going into it is that, because there's going to be a 2-year time jump, and where Michaela has been in India, like in the book. I think that they are going to go back, and they are going to be in Benedict's cottage, and that's where they're going to fall for each other, and because it just makes sense, because they've had him come out. Sophie was supportive of that, of him saying, I fell in love with men. I've loved men. I've loved women. Okay. So they know, we know that is a welcoming, comforting, sweet environment, right? For that in this. So my guess is that they end up coming and falling in love in the cottage.
Okay. Just like how Benedict and Sophie.
Which would be very different than when he was wicked, but whatever.
Yeah. And I guess someone on the Reddit forming them all, then the queen can abolish that they can be queer, be out and stuff like that. But that would be the purpose of even I'd rather have a different character, have a character arc, like I said, like was pitching, let them break that law, let them see, because
basically, but I think back then, somebody would just be known as like a spinster.
Yeah, that would. And now, I don't want her to be like that. Like, I don't want Francesca to be a spinster. Like, yeah, you're a widow, but she deserves more.
Yeah, because they were not like publicly out at that time. But as far as I know,
so things have changed, though. That's the thing. Yeah, they have a choice to change it and make it more creative, and by doing this and chopping up her whole entire story. And it's crazy because
it's going to be interesting to see. But I think that look out for it's going to be in the cottage.
Yeah, I think we're talking about 2 different places. I think talking about the cottage scene and another place, them having like their steamy times, and I'm thinking like
Yeah.
We really have to see how scissor, like, do we, like, not me, like, complaining, but it's more of like, I think if they didn't have, we love John. I think that if they would have, like, if she was really true, she would have scrapped the whole thing and started with like from off the gate. But it's just like, I didn't know that she got 3 seasons compared to everybody else in the time.
I don't know how they.
Like I said, it's involving her. Remember, she's the leader of the writing room. She did it because, mind you, they added the drama in there.
If you need any help, Bridgerton, give us a call. We can help you.
There was no way. There should have been a separate season. We could have had everything could have been bomb.com. We could have had Little Mix playing like the Secret Love song. It would have been beautiful on the dance floor. Like,
I mean, I am feeling more hopeful than I thought because like season 4 was so good. So that gives me some hope.
It's gonna be more like the rating dropping because they're betting on Eloise to be the Hail Mary to save the episode. But I feel as though I feel as though we should not bet on.
You think that I mean the ratings will be lower, but yeah.
I think they're trying to bet on Eloise because the reason they really moved it because Jess was in charge of season 3 through 5, so that's why they moved her up because Francesca's story. Because
that's why.
That's really why.
Season that makes sense. That makes sense.
The fact that she didn't even bother to set up Eloise the way she should have set up correctly was a disservice. But
I thought they set her up a lot. Like that's why I was expecting her to be season 5.
Up until she got to like end of season 3 and season 4. That's where you need like they could have had Marina died in season 4 in part 1, and she could have started writing letters right then and there. Well, her people knowing and think that she might be the new.
But they wouldn't want to do that if they're waiting. If they're waiting until season 6. So I thought we might at least see a cameo from Philip so maybe that was a clue that it wasn't going to be season 5. But
showed at the wedding.
Yeah, I thought we'd see just a little bit of Philip, but anyway, well, let's talk about some of these other stuff real quick. So I just finished this last weekend. I finished The Other Bennett Sister, and this is everybody's wondering how the heck did you watch it because it's premiered in England and not here until I think in May is when it's coming to BBC America. Ooh, okay. Not Masterpiece. I think it's BBC America. Anyway, it's super easy to watch. All you have to do is you get a VPN, which I feel like everybody should have anyway, just for personal safety of your information and to be able to watch stuff from other countries. And you watch it on the BBC iPlayer using a VPN, and it's free. It's great. And so that's how I watched it. But it's an interesting situation because talking about straying from the book. So it's based on a book called The Other Bennett Sister, which is basically like a fan fiction of Pride and Prejudice about Mary Bennett. And the book was super boring. It was dry. I did not like it. So I was skeptical about this series. And they did a great job with casting and basically almost throwing out or elevating the book a lot. Like they made it way better. And a lot of it is because these two leads were so cute. It's this nerdy love story. It's very charming. And honestly, one of the best proposals I have ever seen in media. It was so good. And so I really did love it. But the key is, and maybe I should feel this way also and think this way as far as when he was wicked, but you really cannot think of this as Pride and Prejudice. It has almost nothing to do. Like this character of Mary is so detached from Mary in Pride and Prejudice. Because Mary in Pride and Prejudice is a theological scholar. Like that's all she wants to talk about is religion and God. And they completely remove that altogether from her character isn't religious at all. Like they have a point in the series where she is offered by one of the characters to go and basically be a mistress in Italy with him and live this like free-willing life, whatever. And she actually considers it. I'm like, this is not Mary at all in Pride and Prejudice. Like,
girl, say it.
Yeah, I mean, she didn't even want to dance. She didn't want to, like, she was scolding people for throughout the whole book. So I think it's a bit of a shame that they took out her religion, her piety, because I think that could have added a layer to her character. Even when she's talking with Mr. Collins, she instead of talking about religion, they talk about Aristotle. She's like, why did you do that? But again, if I'm able to put all of that aside and just accept it as its own thing, its own entity, then it's very cute and charming, and they have such good chemistry. And so that's what you have to do sometimes. And I completely understand people. It's kind of like also with this recent Wuthering Heights, that because it is very far from the book. And sometimes I can do that. I couldn't really do it with Wuthering Heights. I thought it took out a lot of what makes that book interesting. Whereas with this, I could do it. And it worked, especially because of the chemistry. And so anyway, it's an interesting thing, but I feel pretty confident that the Hallmarkies will love the other Bennett sister.
Nice.
Yeah.
So just hearing it myself, I'm like, I'm actually invested now because yes, you had this one version of her in this book that's been out for centuries, but then you get another take on her where if she wasn't like in this form of this, how she originally came out to be, and she's in this other, this is how she probably would have been if she wasn't. Kind of give you a different light of who this character is, and also make, hey, I want to see what she was before, and I love it. And you gotta love the fan fiction out there and how they're doing it. I'll talk about this with like one of my coworkers because she's librarian in my school, so we're talking about different books, how they had great. Is it make or break depending on who is the showrunners, who is production companies, who's doing these stories from book to television or movie adaptations, because it can make or break it. It can elevate it, it cannot elevate it. Some can stay true to book until like that maybe like that 2% that they change.
It's a tricky thing, especially when it's something so beloved as Pride and Prejudice. But but I think they pulled it off. They did it. They pulled it off, and so yeah, it's and most of the other parts of Pride and Prejudice weren't very good. Like you just have to accept it as the love story between these two nerds in the Regency era. But there was some good stuff with her and her mother, and there was a really, really good scene between her and Elizabeth. And she basically says, like, just because we grew up in the same house with the same siblings, with the same parents, does not mean our experience was the same.
Thank you.
Like, that is so true.
That is true.
As somebody from a big family, that is 100% true.
I see it firsthand as well. With
our experiences are so different between me and my siblings. Yeah. So
we had Sunshine and Rainbows. Other people had like hell. People have in the middle. I'm like, wow, they had different experiences. And
so the last thing that I want to make sure we touch on is season 13, When Calls the Heart. I'll put a link down. Our friend Casey, she did a very, very, very good little summary of her mixed feelings about the season, which I thought was interesting because she's a big Team Nathan person. So I was kind of surprised, but she explains it extremely well, and is very thoughtful about it. So I was pretty pleased with the season. I don't think it was as good as season 12, because I thought the diabetes plot was so smart and well done in season 12. And I just thought that was very smart to work in actual history in a way they don't usually do on this show. And so then for season 13, it was just frustrating because the decision that they made to have him wait until the finale to propose, it made no sense. Like, they were basically common law married for like 2 seasons. And so you're just like, what is he waiting for? Like, just do it. Like, it tried everyone's patience to such an extent that I don't think that worked very well. I do think that the final proposal was very effective because I like the fact that they made it both this big grand gesture on a water tower and overseeing everything, and also like really intimate and simple. And so I thought the actual proposal was very good, but the waiting was it was nonsensical. It just didn't make any sense for the time, for the characters, for their, it's like, what is Nathan doing? Why?
Life is too short.
They have written Nathan as such a, I don't know, weird, weak, like nothing character that
like a puppy.
Yeah, well, it's just like, I mean, it took him so long to like make a move to have a meal with this woman, to have
Oh
a,
yeah, I remember that.
it's like no wonder she went with Lucas for so long. He actually did something. Like he actually
Okay.
tried, of course. And so it's just been weird. I just think that they have treated that character very weird. And even in season 13, they had very, very little intimacy. Like most of the time when they were together, they were talking about Allie, or the kids, or Charlotte, or little Jack, or whatever, which is fine to do some, but I don't know, it's just weird. I think they've handled Nathan very weird.
We gotta go back to the drawing board, you guys.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
need back
But
because it's
but
resurgence.
but I did overall still like the season. I think Edie and Lucas was a huge win. They have
Mm-hmm.
such good chemistry. It was so charming. And I like the fact that they had Lucas acknowledge his pain of what Elizabeth
Yes.
had done to him, because they had just like pretended that was nothing. Like literally the next episode, they were like, moved on. Nobody's crying. Nobody's upset. You know, I'm
Yeah, I
like,
can
come
cry
on.
too.
You were going to marry this man. You were going to marry this woman. Like you'd feel sad.
Mm-hmm.
So I was glad that they acknowledged that. But him and Edie's so cute. I really love it. I thought the Christopher and Gowan plot was quite good, touching,
Mm-hmm.
well done. Everything with Bill, I feel like they don't know what to do with Bill.
We're gonna pray for Bill.
All of a sudden he was a prosecutor, and everything with Georgie, I didn't like that at all. I don't think that worked. I was surprised that they didn't do more with Fernando, because
True.
I felt like they were building him up to maybe, like, whether it was him and Faith, or I don't know. Especially because the way that Hallmark was acting, like, ooh, you definitely want to interview him. And when we interviewed Andrea, they were acting like it was like the biggest spoiler, that episode where they filmed the silent movie. Like this was like a huge deal. And I'm like, what were they doing? That's so weird. And so I was surprised by that.
We love you, Hallmark, but do better.
Yeah. But Lee and Rosemary and their whole sort of fostering this girl, I thought that was a great plot.
It reminded me of the episode from Little House on the Prairie when they adopted whatchamacallit.
Yeah, or A Love Comes Softly.
Yes.
When that series for sure reminds me of that. So overall, I do think it was a good season, but I just think that they should have handled the proposal different. Like they shouldn't have waited so long. It's just,
yeah.
But that's the When It Comes to the Heart. When It Comes to the Heart is slow. It's just a slow paced show, and that's just especially when it comes to Elizabeth, and especially when it comes to love. They stretch it out as long as they can.
They're gonna take a nap. They're gonna recruit. They're gonna write their great, season 14. While they're marrying the pre one.
Yeah, you know what I was thinking though is that I'm surprised. I guess they didn't have any choice with this because they already had Abigail being mayor.
Yeah,
but it's too bad, I guess, that they did that, because like having a suffrage plot for the 1920s would have been really perfect for this show. Can't you just see? Can't you see like Elizabeth and Faith and May and all of them, like
a great
wanting the right to vote and all that? Like that would have been a really good story, but I guess they couldn't do that because they already had Abigail being mayor. So
there's green screen. Y'all use green screens all the time, Hallmark, for your background.
No, but I'm saying they've already, like, obviously if she can be mayor, then she can vote. Yeah. So they couldn't do that, but it's too bad because it would have been a fun plot to have them be suffragettes. But anyway, it's When It Comes to the Heart is what it is.
It is.
I mean, they have Lucas being the governor, and there are no governors in not like they're showing. They have like governors in Canada, as far as I understand, are more like ambassadors to England. Like it's like it's not like an elected position. It's just not. They don't have governors like this. What they do in When It Comes to the Heart. So
You know what?
anyway.
Give them their own fantasy. It's okay. It's their own little fantasy
Yeah.
world. We're here for it.
So that is, let me see real quick. Let me look and see if there's
I know,
anything else I
I know a
wanted
lot of things
to.
are popping up. Yes, a lot of things popping up for Hallmark, like the last season of
The Way Home,
the
that's coming. Are you
home.
excited?
I am. I'm gonna finish
I'm
it.
sad that it's the
I know it.
last, but
I feel like I was there from the beginning. I had a little pause because of like a lot life was lifing, but that show was so powerful in a way. It was original, it was magical. The fact that they're ending it, I'm like
I know. I just hope that it's ended well. I wish well.
tastefully and full circle and stuff. Should they bring Dell back? Bring Dell's husband? Let us know. Like give
Yeah.
us. It's on the previews of it. I'm like, okay, okay. Let's see how this is gonna go.
Well, let me real quick. I want to give some just quick mini little reviews of some stuff that I have been watching. So I was able to attend the South by Southwest Film Festival virtually because I didn't end up attending. It just didn't work out that I was able to go in person. So some things that I watched there. There's a movie called Pretty Lethal. This is on
Ooh.
Amazon Prime. This is about basically killer ballerinas. It's a slasher movie about ballerinas. They do wild stuff with their toe shoes. I'll tell you that. It's entertaining if you can handle some blood and gore. There were a lot of bloody female focused movies at South by Southwest this year. There's Pretty Lethal. There was also a movie called They Will Kill You, which is now out in theaters. This is about, I think you would like this one, Jasmine. It's about this woman who her sister is basically in this sort of cult. It's this devil cult. And it's all set in this big building. And she becomes a domestic at this building to try to save her sister. And it's wild. It's wild and very bloody and crazy, but entertaining. So, and then another very bloody movie.
Everything is bloody, Mary.
Yes, it's called Forbidden Fruits, and this is a movie about a group of teenage or young adult witches that rule this mall, and it gets very bloody. There's a scene on an escalator that I'll not be forgetting anytime soon.
I see. I have those phobias about escalators. No one knows.
Oh, you shouldn't watch this one.
Like with with the shoestring or something like that. You're just you're done.
Oh yeah, you shouldn't watch this then because it's gnarly. But each of the girls in the coven are named after a different fruit. So there's apple, fig, I think peach, maybe. I can't remember what the other one was. But anyway, they're all named after fruit. And have you ever seen Heathers? Have you ever seen that from the 80s?
No.
Okay, so this reminded me a lot of Heathers. But then there's also, I haven't seen it, but a lot of people are saying it's a lot like The Craft.
Okay.
From the 90s. So anyway, that's very bloody. Another very bloody movie. This was my least favorite of this group. Is called Quince. But I think I was just sort of bloodied out or slashered out because I don't think this is a bad movie, but it's about these. It's made in Mexico. It's set in Mexico. It's about these two girls that are getting ready for their quinceañeras, and it has very, very much like Carrie vibes. Things, yeah. So things get bloody. So
the quinceañera, okay.
Yeah. So that's all a bunch of stuff. Another movie out of South by Southwest that I really liked. It's called Sparks. And this is starring Elsie Fisher, who was in that movie 8th Grade a couple of years ago. I don't know if you saw that.
Wow.
But anyway, she's a very talented young actress. And it's about this group of teens. I forget if it's set in the 90s, 80s, 90s. I can't remember. But anyway, they find out that their pond, similar to The Way Home, has time traveling abilities. And her big dream, there's this famous film director named Jean-Luc Godard.
Okay.
He was part of what's called the French New Wave. This is from the 50s, 60s. And she just loves Jean-Luc Godard. And so her big dream is is to use the pond to go back and meet Jean-Luc Godard. And so it's really cute. It's a cute story. Good characters. I recommend that one. Another one that I think Hallmarkies might be interested in, it's called Basic. And this is a good movie. It stars Ashley Park, and she plays this woman who is like really insecure. Like she's dating this great guy. Taylor John Smith is the actor's name. Anyway, great guy, but she is so insecure that how could he like someone like me? How could he be into me? Whatever. That, and in particular, she starts like cyber stalking his ex-girlfriend. And he's like, how could you like her? Who's so beautiful. How could you? And then like me, like, why don't you ever talk about her? Why do you? So she just becomes kind of fixated on this. Well, the ex-girlfriend is played by Leighton Meester. Okay. And she is like trying to be a stand-up comic. So one day they meet, and because she's kind of stalking her, and this sort of back and forth. It was really well done and funny, and all the performances good. I liked Basic quite a bit, so that I would recommend. Then the last one that I want to talk about from South by Southwest is a movie called Love Language. Mm. Yes. So this stars Chloe Grace Moretz, and it has Anthony Ramos and Manny Jacinto, who I love both of them. They're so swoony. And she basically, she becomes kind of bitter about love, but at the same time, she becomes kind of well known for somebody who can write people's vows. And that if her friends are struggling to write their vows, go to her. She'll do it. She writes beautifully. But it's kind of this interesting dichotomy because she's writing these beautiful words and at the same time feeling like increasingly bitter about love. And Manny Jacinto and Anthony Ramos are so swoony in this movie. She is a very unlikable character. So some people will struggle because she's rude. She's not a very good friend at times. Like it's a challenging character to, for I think Hallmark audiences might struggle with that a little bit, but I really liked it. I thought that it worked, and her growth through the course of the movie was really good.
Wait a minute. Why did we not get the script for Hallmark to have this on the network? Like, how would this? Think about it. Think about like the the Hallmark music playing like about such and such.
I mean, this is definitely it's an R-rated film, but
can we make a PG-1 for Hallmark, please? I'm invested now.
But it was a cute idea. The idea of somebody being the vow writer, and it's similar in like plot structure in a way to like 27 Dresses. Like 27 Dresses. She's in everybody's weddings, and it also reminded me a lot of The Wedding Singer. In The Wedding Singer, he's doing all of favorite. Doing all of these weddings.
Yes,
and then it finally gets to him. So I recommend Love Language. It's really cute. A couple of the real quick. There was a movie called Toe. This stars Rose Byrne. This is based on a true story about this woman who is homeless, unhoused, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. And she'd been living in her car. Well, it's this scam that people do where they will tow people's cars and then try to charge them the $300 to get their car back, even though they stole it. They stole their car. And so that's what happens to her. And so she actually has to take them to court because she doesn't have any money. And this is very predictable. It's very cheesy, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. It's got Octavia Spencer. She's good in it. It's got Demi Lovato is in it.
Okay. Really?
Yeah. And so it's got a great cast. Elsie Fisher is actually also in Toe. She plays her daughter. Rose Byrne just was nominated for an Oscar. She's in it. She's really good. There was also, speaking of another bloody movie, Ready or Not 2 was also at South by Southwest.
I heard about that. I saw on the
another devil cult movie. So yeah, I think that's basically everything that I think the Hallmarkies would be interested in. I really liked the movie Undertone. That was very good, but it feels like one of those movies that they made during the pandemic, because it's basically just her in her house, and there's one actress, and she plays this podcaster, and it's the most ridiculous podcast that nobody would listen to this thing. So you have to separate that part of it and just go with it, because it makes no sense as a podcast. But I thought it was very well done, and I think that's basically everything. I liked Reminders of Him a lot. We had a lot of coverage of that on the pod. I got to interview the director. I thought it was way better than the other two Colin Hoover adaptations. Okay, I also loved a little movie called Redux. This is an indie that you should check out. It's about this woman who basically finds a TARDIS that allows her to. So this woman, her daughter is murdered. And she finds this time machine, and it allows her to go back, and she basically starts in alternate dimensions, killing the person who murdered her daughter, but she becomes increasingly kind of twisted and obsessed with it. Like, it feels surprisingly good to have this vengeance, right? In these alternate dimensions, and then things just get more and more confusing as they go. This was so well written. It was so engaging. Good story. Good. And the lead actress was absolutely great. Michaela McManus. Mm-hmm. And I think she's the sister of the directors, Matthew McManus and Kevin McManus.
Okay, family. Okay.
Yeah, I know. Family project. But she is very good in this role. And she ends up involving her daughter in these other dimensions, and things just get very complicated. And is she going to get stuck in another dimension? How is she's just becoming increasingly more violent, and how does that change her character? It's really good. Redux. I highly recommend. You should check that one out. Yeah, I think that is. Yeah. Most everything. Of course, I love Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie. I got to interview Matt and Jay, and that was so fun. Highly recommend that. There we go. So I think that's good. But thank you so much, Jasmine, for doing this. I really appreciate it.
No, you're welcome. I got to find my outfit for next week. Yes, you're welcome. My mom's going to be here for next week, because
my mom's going to be here in 5 minutes to pick me up. So
I know. I'm excited. But also, guys, don't forget, next week we're having rom-com moments next week in theaters with.
I'm so excited about that. With
there's a dress code, by the way.
Tuscany. Yeah, I can't wait. Yes, and we'll have a lot of coverage of that.
Definitely.
So definitely let us know what you think of this sort of more loose, less formal. I know we talked about Bridgerton for a long time, but anyway, let me know what you think. Of it in the comments. Would appreciate that. And Jasmine, where can people follow you?
You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Shreem16, SHREEM16.
Great. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. Check that out. Make sure you're following the podcast, Hallmarkies Podcast. And if you end up listening to this on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. Those are so hard to get, those reviews on iTunes. So if you have any podcast that you like, please take the time to put in a review on iTunes. It means a lot. And then if you are watching on YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate that. And we have our Patreon group, which is the biggest way you can support everything that we're doing. You get to be part of cool experiences. And also you get to have the episodes ad free. You get to be part of our Facebook group. I really try hard to make it worth the investment to join the Patreon. And then we have our merch store where you can get fun shirts like the one I'm wearing today. So check that out. And thanks so much, everybody. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
Bye.